I said previously that if Donald Trump was going to be the one doing play-by-play of Kamala Harris's speech, it was going to go terrible. And it absolutely did. It is hilarious, and I cannot wait to share it. But first, I have to tell you what his campaign did before she spoke. The head of his campaign tweeted out an insult to Beyonce. Yeah, Beyonce didn't even perform, and he's insulting Beyonce, which was a major self-own. And here's Donald Trump bending the knee to Brian Kemp. Donald Trump has been insulting Brian Kemp for 4 years, and he did it recently again, and Brian Kemp's response was basically, this doesn't poll well, and now Trump is bending the knee to Brian Kemp, which is hilarious. But there's more. This is when Kamala Harris actually starts speaking. Where's Hunter? Walz was an assistant coach, not a coach. Is she talking about me? This is my favorite. This is probably just going to be the thumbnail because it's so perfect. It captures how weird and unhinged and crazy he is. And then we have more. Lying about Project 2025, which she knows, and so do all Democrats that I have absolutely nothing to do with. Your campaign is Project 2025. They're advertising it. They worked on it. Today, Donald Trump at a press conference bragged that he works with a great patriot who is an author of Project 2025. It is so interwoven into his campaign that when internal videos were leaked, they were all throughout it. When he gives a speech, he can't help but praise Project 2025. It is his campaign. And here's a really good one. Everybody, Democrats and Republicans and liberals and conservatives, wanted Roe v. Wade terminated and brought back to the states. That is a lie, and the polling shows just that. This is why Roe-vember is so scary for Republicans. Like Ronald Reagan and myself, most believe in exceptions. He's right about that. Even people that want an abortion ban believe in exceptions, but not Republicans, because states are getting rid of exceptions, even though the voter bloc wants it. But we'll get to voting in a second. Now the people are voting, which is the way it was supposed to be. Literally today, a state had an abortion initiative removed from the November ballot due to a technicality because Republicans don't want it on the ballot. In multiple states, Republicans have taken action to prevent it being voted on and taken actions to change abortion laws without it being brought up to a vote because Republicans don't want it voted on. They just want to take away choice. I do not limit access to birth control or IVF. That is a lie. These are all false stories that she's making up that I've never heard of. If you've never heard of them, it's because your campaign is lying to you. Republicans have been pushing against birth control, against IVF. There has been a bill for multiple years trying to remove IVF, and Republicans who had their kids through IVF have supported bills that would ban it. And this one, it's just words coming out of her mouth, followed by what I think would be my favorite if it was a separate message. I trust women also, and I will keep women safe. We know the stories about the locker room, Donald. We know the stories about the grabbing when you're a star, Donald. It's all out there. She won't, because the invasion of our country at her open borders is destroying the lives of women and the families and jobs of African Americans and Hispanics. And I know I'm covering it. I know I am. I'm going to remove myself so you can see. He's now tried to fancy it up with African American jobs. Is he really going to do that? Is that going to be his big fix for black jobs? He's going to say African American jobs? Because if that's his fix, you know it's Donald Trump. He's going to accidentally call them African jobs at some point. You know it's going to happen. It's impossible he uses these two words. It's not going to work out for him. And I love how he changes it to the border. Again, she isn't in charge of the border, but he pretends, he likes to play pretend, instead of, covering Roe v. Wade, Roe-vember is coming. We have more. Russia-Ukraine would have never started if I were president. She was sent to try to stop it. Putin attacked 3 days later. She did not meet with Putin 3 days before the attack. This is a lie. This is something even Fox News has been fact-checking him on. But there's more. She caused the attack on October 7th. Iran was broke, didn't have the money for Hezbollah. So, Kamala Harris is the one who attacked Israel. Just glorious. We got more. She didn't mention China. Well, I can. J.D. Vance's wife worked for the Chinese government at a university that was against the rules to insult communism. Oh, we're not mentioning China in that way? She didn't mention fracking. She didn't mention energy. She didn't mention meaningfully Russia and Ukraine. Yes, she did. You just were replying to her meaningfully mentioning Russia and Ukraine. She didn't mention the big subjects of the day that are destroying our country. Russia invading Ukraine is destroying our country? There are 60 million people in poverty in the U.S. under her watch. She doesn't even talk about them. She talks constantly about helping the poor. Literally, that's what her tax plan is. Her child tax credit is. Donald Trump, however, had a plan where he would remove the taxes on tips without a limit so that people at hedge funds could change how they get their paychecks, change it into what would be considered a tip, and not pay taxes on it. That was the difference between their two proposals. There will be no future under Comrade Kamala Harris because she will take us into nuclear World War III. Is that worse than World War III, or is he like using nuclear as a scare word? Because if we're going back to energy, nuclear is an option. But remember, with the Elon Musk interview, he didn't understand that nuclear energy wasn't created by setting off nuclear bombs. That was funny. She will never be respected by the tyrants of the world. And then, the balloons are down. There's cheering. Look, it's crazy Nancy Pelosi looking on saying, "Where's Crooked Joe?" So old. So weird. He's back to the greatest hits of Nancy Pelosi, Joe Biden. My biggest shock is he didn't mention Obama. And what's funny is what he didn't mention, right? Because there was some of Trump's past up there. There was some of Trump's past. They brought the Central Park Five on stage. The ones that Trump basically helped railroad and were innocent. He didn't mention them. He didn't mention most of what was said tonight, actually. Where's Hunter? Is she talking about me? And what's wild? What's wild? MAGA is going to see these responses. Some of MAGA, at least. I think a lot of MAGA can't even look at these and like, yeah, he looks cool. Some are going to look at this and think he sounds amazing. But like, this is presidential. Where's Hunter? Surprised he didn't add in a, where's her emails? But her emails. Hillary Clinton. Old, weird, sad, and his campaign picked a fight with Beyonce for no reason. Technically, they already had a fight because they kept using her music without permission, but now they've really triggered her fans.